Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and today is a very big day in the Southeast, and that is because today is the University of Georgia versus the Auburn Tigers in football, and that is a big rivalry game. As you all know, I went to Auburn University, and one famous person that also went to Auburn University is Tim Cook, who's the CEO of Apple, just as a point of reference there. But in this part of the country, and especially in my town, you're either for Auburn or you're for Georgia, and everybody comes down pretty hard on one side or another. I believe that this year, both of these teams are pretty close to being equal. I think Georgia, and my Georgia friends would not like to hear this, but I've told them several times this year. I think Georgia has one of the easiest schedules in the Southeastern Conference, and so I think they've been given more credit than they should be due this year. But that doesn't mean that Auburn's going to beat Georgia. It can go either way in these rivalry games, no matter how good or bad they are each year. But I wouldn't be surprised if Auburn was able to win, because I think Auburn's probably every bit as good as Georgia. But who knows? Georgia tends to do well when they play at Auburn, but we'll see. Okay, let's get this started. David Schwartz has been on Twitter a good bit, and it looks like Mr. B is calling me. I'm going to answer this call. Don't normally do this, but I'm going to answer it. Mr. B, you happen to be, I was recording when you called, and so I decided to answer it. You're on speakerphone now because I wanted to test this on my microphone. Anyway, did you have something that can't be said on the actual channel?
Well, no, I'm happy to say a happy Saturday. And what would I like to say? I'd like to say that sarcasm does not work on Twitter. People don't get it.
Yes,
how about that?
I did.
Hashtag.
I did see that you said that on Twitter, and so I'm just going to keep you on the line as we go through this. But did you call me for a reason that you can talk about, or what?
Probably not. Probably something we can talk about offline, but certainly glad to chat with you about anything you might want to talk about.
Okay, well, the first thing I was talking about is that I think that Georgia is overrated. I was about to get into the meat of this thing. I was talking about Georgia is overrated, and they've got one of the easiest schedules in college football. But I'm not saying I think Auburn is going to win. I think Auburn's, okay this year. But I think Georgia has been given a lot more credit than they should be due.
Well, they sure did beat up on the Gators, so I'm going to go ahead and pass on that conversation and not take any shots at anybody.
That's right. You're a Gator. But the first thing I was going to talk about is on this episode is David Schwartz was tweeting. It looks like he's traveling back from Japan, and this is freaking me out, and you too, Rodrigo. He was talking about how they had to restart the plane because
I saw that.
Yeah, he had some kind of battery issue. Did you see that?
Yeah, I would either be doubling down on the Xanax or getting off that flight and changing flights.
Yeah, and so it was really creepy. He even took a picture of the plane, and it was all dark, and they were turning the power off.
I know that was crazy. I'll tell you, I did see him tweet a picture of he and his wife on a little skinny bridge somewhere in Japan, and somebody said underneath the post, look at the bridge assets, and it was hilarious. And David said, I'm so sad I didn't think of that.
That's funny.
Yeah.
And then, let's see, I'm just going through these things. As long as I got you on the phone, I may as well have never done this before. Okay, now I got two will-run Wonka tweets. The first one was XRP based. And if you don't have time for this, by the way.
No, I'm good. I'm perfectly good. Absolutely.
Okay. By the way, the technology on this program, I'm dealing this time with an iPhone 11, and I've got an actual mic hooked up. So I'm hoping that this works out. I've got it right up to the mic. So let's hope that this works. All right, so Bullrun Wonka, he tweeted this out about an XRP based stable coin coming soon, and it says Kava Labs, where they actually replied. Somebody had said, you think about that XRP backed stablecoin? Kyle Lab said, definitely XRP is absolutely on our roadmap to support and having our stablecoin USDX be backed by and other hard crypto assets. I think Brad Combs has talked about this a lot, hasn't he?
Yeah, Brad's been pumped up about Kava Labs for a long time, and if Brad's pumped up about it, I'm pumped up about it because I think he understands the intricacies of what they're going to do, and I think that he believes they're going to be hanging collateral on XRP, which could only be a good thing.
Okay, and this is another one from Bullrun Wonka. China's authorities resume their all-out war against crypto with a new campaign aimed at shutting down all remaining crypto-related activity. Now, I was kind of reading through this, and the gist of what I'm getting is that now China is going to have their own central bank digital currency. So now they want to just shut down everybody else. Do you think that's what they're talking about? Did I lose you? All right, we may have lost Mr. B. He'll probably call back in. Occasionally, I don't know if it's my service or Mr. B's service, but occasionally when I'll lose him. I just got this new phone, so I'm assuming that mine's working right. But we'll see what happens. Anyway, I think that's the gist of what's going on with China, and so we'll move along from there. Let's see here. And then XRP Yoda, what does that say? You was never in the XRP community. Don't fall for all these bots. What he's talking about here is that 2017 they would just ban XRP Twitter users. 2018 XRP was a security. 2019 bots now encouraging selling. BS trust in Yoda. Now, this is something that we saw some kind of hashtag sell XRP going on yesterday. Every time I see this type of thing, it's encouraging because if you're not getting attacked, you're not doing anything, and that doesn't matter what you're doing in life. If you are accomplishing things, if you're number one, you're going to have people coming at you. That's just the way life works. So if you're not doing well, you're not going to be attacked. So that tells me good things about XRP. All right, and then there was this. I tweeted this out last night, and it's very true. I know a man in my town who bought as much waterfront property as he could get his hands on when I was a kid. Nobody wanted it or saw the value in it at the time. He's one of the wealthiest men in town now, and this is true. My father used to tell me about this guy buying all this land, and it was dirt cheap at the time, and nobody wanted it at the time. It was not in areas that people thought there would be development, and now this guy's one of the wealthiest people in town. Well, David Schwartz came in and says, you're just in time to buy soon-to-be waterfront property all over the country. I think he meant all over the world, and that is XRP. And that's how I view XRP. Best investments are the ones that you invest in when nobody's buying, when it seems like nobody's interested, because at some point, if the investment makes sense, and if everything that you've done your research on about the investment makes sense, and then after you've done all that research, it makes sense in the core of your gut, those are the best investments, to be able to seize on that when nobody else sees what you see. And then Waleed Benothman, it is a privilege and honor to work at Ripple and share some unique moments with Joel Katz, to an exceptional, inspiring gentleman on and off the crypto world. Happy birthday, David. And David Schwartz, so today's his birthday. David Schwartz somewhere said, I read somewhere this morning that I think he's 50. He was wanting people to guess how old he was. I think 50 sounds like that'd be about right if I was guessing. Then Chinu Patel at Chinu Patel 29 sent me this. This was from Cryptopolis. State pension funds are so underfunded, and sustained decline in the market could bring many to insolvency. America's public sector pension schemes are trillions of dollars short. And this is an awkward age. It says this is the public sector pension schemes by percentage funded 2018. This is their percentage of funding. It's a scam, folks. These are all Ponzi schemes. So let's just take this one. Chicago Municipal is basically like what 25% funded. Those people are never going to see their pensions, or they're just going to be announced that they're never going to see them right about the time they retire. And that goes for Social Security. It goes for all these government things, because these governments and these organizations, just people in general, they can't keep their hands off your money. There's only one person who is going to keep their hands off of your savings, and that is you. And in all likelihood, most people can't even do that themselves. So, but the idea of trusting someone else with your retirement funds, it has always been silly to me. If you want me to have retirement savings, then give me the control of my money. And then there was this from Brad Garlinghouse. Why are we still playing whack-a-mole with these bad actors? It took YouTube a week to take action, and there are still 35 plus users impersonating me, some of whom I asked to have removed a month ago. Still shocked at the inability of these companies to police their own platforms. What this is this is a Forbes article about this guy who had I think he had a gaming YouTube channel, and Russian hackers came in and hacked his gaming channel. And when they did, they changed the name of the channel to Brad Garlinghouse and ran XRP scams, and I think they made like $15,000 real quick. Well, that's a pretty scary prospect, but Brad Garlinghouse apparently is not happy about it. Let's see here. XRP Crypto Wolf. U.S. Federal Reserve warns that a stablecoin crisis could wreak havoc on the global economy and outlines steps issuers can do to protect the status quo. U.S. Federal Reserve is the last organization that should be saying this, since USD is $23 trillion in debt. U.S. Federal Reserve warns that a stablecoin crisis could wreak havoc. Yeah, they're real worried about that wreaking havoc, but not $23 trillion in debt, because that serves their purpose. That's why. And then this was interesting. This is from Mark Yusko, who is the partner of Anthony Pompliano over at Morgan Creek Digital. He says that crypto will create the first trillionaire. A couple of interesting quotes from him. He's a very smart guy. The great news about that is it's going to create the greatest wealth in the history of mankind. The first $10 trillion company, the first trillionaire, it's all going to come out of this space, because what we're doing is fundamentally changing the way we exchange value. Think about the wealth that was created. Companies like Google and Amazon, they're all going to be disrupted, and they're all going to be replaced with this new technological evolution, but it's early. That's the only problem we have right now, folks, is that we're a little bit early. That's it. There is no other problem. Okay, and this was interesting, and you need to go and watch this. This XRP veteran had tweeted out this tweet from Bless You. Sounds like Ripple hashtag sold XRP to BRICS, and they will use to level the playing field. Now, when you see this clip, it's about a 30-second clip on Russia Today about the BRICS nations that are setting up a payment network. When you listen to this 30 seconds, they describe what XRP is as a bridge currency to a T. And it's very well worth listening to. I'm not saying that they're choosing XRP, but I am saying this. Here are the BRICS nations: Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. We know that XRP is in Brazil. We know Ripple's in Brazil. We know Ripple's in India. We know Ripple's in China. Russia and South Africa, those are the two that I just don't remember. But you know that Ripple's somewhere in the mix in there. If they're involved in these other countries, it's been brought up. Okay, finally, the Grothe Chicken, it's supposed to be groovy, maybe another O. He wants to be the official party planner of the Digital Asset Investor channel. And so today you will become, and his premise was, and he wrote me a whole long, a big logical reasoning for why. He said, eventually we're going to have a big, huge party when all of this moons. And I agree, there will be a huge party, maybe in Liechtenstein. But he wants to be the official party planner of the Digital Asset Investor channel, and I happen to need one. And so it is. Now, I also wanted to show you this. We showed you that Salvo Leon, you can go to his website, crypto-stickers.com. If you get a title on this channel and want to have a shirt that says such, you can go and do it. This guy will work with you. I make no money off this. I'm just the guy made some shirts for me as a favor, and so he has now hit the jackpot. And that's how life works sometimes. If you do the right thing, sometimes for no compensation, you never know what might happen to you. So this guy is getting all these, any orders, anybody who wants to take their title and get a shirt out of it. One day down the road, we'll have a meetup and you can all wear your official titles of the Digital Asset Investor and wear your shirts. But I wanted to show you this shirt that he's made. The official neighbor of the Digital Asset Investor channel had this one made. And on the back, he's got a takeoff on Mr. Rogers. It says, "It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, XRP." I like that. I'm the Digital Asset Investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe and hit the like button and tell your friends and family that the Digital Asset Investor's official neighbor now has his own shirt, and it is a beautiful day in the neighborhood. And cheer for Auburn. Thank you for listening.